Hello, this is Chris, and I am back with a brand new reaction video. This is the big trailer. This is the one that we kind of predicted we'd probably get at Super Bowl. And we did technically get a trailer for Han Solo, a 45-second one at the Super Bowl, but this literally went up within the hour. This is Solo, a Star Wars story official trailer teaser, or teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it, trailer 1. I actually just got done with a reaction video for the first 45-second trailer that came out at Super Bowl yesterday, so I'd recommend going and checking that out first. That was my first experience, that was my first time seeing any material from this film that's come out, and I guess that will kind of serve as a video introduction and sort of like my mind space as to where I'm going into this movie. I'm not going to give a massive long-winded intro for this one. I'm going to talk more about it after I've seen the trailer, but I've heard that this is a completely different trailer to the previous one that came out, so it's probably going to show a lot more new stuff, and I guess we'll see what's going on with this movie, because we really haven't had anything. I mentioned this in my previous video. This movie is 3 months away from release. And I know that we had Last Jedi and Disney were probably pumping all their marketing into that movie, but we've heard nothing. I mean, this film's had a incredibly troubled production to the point where it's a case where they probably reshot the entire movie, in all honesty. And I really hope that this movie isn't some kind of like Frankenstein's monster and hodgepodge and thrown together and get it out for May. Personally, I'd much prefer it if they delayed it until December, because it seems like we haven't had much of a span of time between The Last Jedi and this one, so it doesn't feel as special. But we're going to watch the trailer now together anyway. I'm going to talk much more about it afterwards. So I'm going to click play now.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I was kicked out of the flight academy for having a mind of my own.
He sounds like Kirk from the Star Trek spin-off, like, you know, kind of a rebel kind of character from the off. No pun intended.
Hey kid, I'm putting together a crew.
So it's like Rogue One.
That's yes.
I kind of like the 80s synth going on though.
I might be the only person. Who knows what you really are?
What's that?
Get ready.
I'm not feeling you as Han Solo, I'm sorry.
For a second, but it's fine. We're fine.
The hell? It's like they took a course into like some weird hentai porn or something like that. I'm so torn on this movie. I understand what people are saying now. I'm gonna start with we are gonna watch this trailer again, by the way, just so we're clear. But I'm really torn on the look of this movie, because in terms of the set pieces, like the different locations, the action, all the stuff around it looks really cool. I like that we're probably going to get new planets on this one. I mentioned this in my previous video, but the thing that looks like is straight out of Black Panther, like with the cape and like the weird like headgear and the spear. I think this is going to be the Spice Mines of Kessel. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point that that's going to feature in the movie somewhere. And I think that that might be the look of the people from Kessel, perhaps. I don't know. I might be wrong on that completely. So all the stuff around the movie, as I said, looks great. It looks new. It kind of looks similar but different, which is what we always want. I mean, going all completely different is what I would favour, and it looks like it is tending in that direction a little bit. You do have similar qualities though of like, I'm putting together a team, and it's like we saw this in Rogue One, and it's like they're trying to do a similar thing. This sort of ragtag team, I hate that phrase, but it's the phrase that always gets thrown out, of, you know, rebel kind of characters, the scoundrels. You're going to have Lando, you're going to have Han, you're going to have Chewie. We've got Amelia Clark, we've got a droid. It's very similar to Rogue One to me. Like, is this droid in this movie gonna be like the new K2SO or something? In all honesty, you could have this movie just be like Han, Chewie, and Lando. You could just stop it there, right there, just have those three, make it more focused. But it seems you're going for this big sprawling team. Fair enough, it's whatever. My big problem with this, and it's going to be a huge problem because the movie's all about him, is Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. He's just not Han Solo to me. You know, the lines are there. This is still written by Lawrence Kasdan, who did Empire. I think he collaborated on Empire, actually. And he was part of Force Awakens. Usually he knows how to write for Han Solo. So the lines are there. The performance isn't there. And if I'm going to talk a bit about the production now for anyone who doesn't know, because they have kept it sort of very shrouded in secret, and I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it now, especially with Disney taking over. Even the previous couple of Star Wars movies that came out, especially Rogue One and a little bit of Force Awakens, had some production problems along the way. But when the behind the scenes come out, it's all, you know, everything's happy, everything's good, everyone was like a family on set, there were no problems or anything, it was all smooth running, it was all part of the plan. It's like the greatest cover-up story ever in the movie world. Like, we're never gonna know the ins and outs now. Red Letter Media talk about this in one of their videos, and that when you go to the behind-the-scenes footage on the DVD or whatever it happens to be of Phantom Menace, you see the look of concern on people's faces, you see the confusion, you see tension and fraying among the crew and the production team and everything like that. And it's kind of this really candid look into movie making and how that movie was made. You're never going to get that now with Disney doing it. They don't want any bad publicity. If they do have bad publicity, they try and turn it round or sweep it under the rug. This movie's had a lot. I mean, when this movie was originally announced, I know myself, I don't know if this was the general case of everyone, it was kind of a sense of why. Why is this movie being made? We've got all these chances to tell all of these spin-off stories. The Star Wars galaxy and universe is huge. Loads of stories you can tell. Rogue One I thought was really good. I thought it was a story that didn't need to be told, but like there was room there to tell a story, and it kind of reinforces and leads you into the original Star Wars. It fleshes out essentially something that's already there. With Solo, a Star Wars, and even like Kenobi that's been confirmed, like there is like a big part of that time bracket between episode 3 and 4. Surely he didn't just stay in a desert the entire time. He had to have got up to something in those 19 years, and that movie will show us that, and I'm looking forward to that. With Han Solo, a Star Wars story, it just seems kind of pointless to me, especially when it was announced, and even still kind of right now, that's where my thoughts are. Everything you need to know from the Han Solo character, you get from the first shot of him in the Cantina Bar in the original Star Wars. Hi, I'm Han Solo, Captain of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie here tells me you're seeking passage to Alderaan. Whatever the line is. His swagger, his mannerism when he like slinks into the table, and really like the entire original version anyway of the Cantina Bar scene. You get everything you need to know. He's the rebel with a heart of gold, and then as the trilogy goes on, that's his character development. You don't need to know his past. You get little lines in Empire and stuff with Lando and his friendship, but because the performances were so good from Billy Dee and Harrison Ford, you immediately buy that they had a connection. You don't need to see how Han Solo won the Falcon. You don't need to see when he made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. They hint to a bigger story beyond the trilogy, but it's not one that we desperately need to see. I think a big part of it is, as well for me, is the casting. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. He always has been Han Solo. There is no one you can compare to him. There's no actor you can cast that can be him. I know there's oh god, he's on YouTube. He's a Harrison Ford impersonator. Is his surname Ingruber or something? Anthony Ingruber, I want to say his name is. I'm probably butchering that name. He's got all the mannerisms down and everything like that, and I guess if there was going to be anyone that I can think of, he would have been probably my first choice for Han Solo. Now, I haven't seen Alden Ehrenreich in any movie yet. I know that he was in Hail Caesar and he was meant to be pretty good in that, but there have been rumours, and I believe that these rumours are founded, that when Phil Lord and Chris Miller were originally directing this movie, they had to fly in an acting coach to coach Alden Ehrenreich because apparently he wasn't that great and he needed acting lessons. which I don't know if that's true or not. That could be the rumor mill, but that's what I heard. That was put around a lot of the places, and I think there's probably a lot of truth to that. While I mentioned them, let's address the Phil Lord, Chris Miller thing. So they directed 21 Jump Street, the Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. They've got a great sense of comedy, but they tend to favour improvisational comedy. Yes, they have a script, yes, they write it, but they like to just like roll the camera and let the actors have that interplay between them. I'm not a huge fan of improv. Sometimes I am, but the director has to rein it back. Sometimes it has the tendency to go on and outstay its welcome a bit too long, and you kind of lose all sense of flow. However, some of the best moments in movie history have come out from an actor improvising a line, and maybe that was the case. It seemed like they had a very relaxed approach to directing in terms of their characters and their scripts. I think there was quite a lot of animosity between their approach and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the script, and probably Disney. That being said, I heard that they were pretty much 95%, 98% complete on filming. Like, they'd almost wrapped the entire movie. And then Kathleen Kennedy came out and said, like, there were creative differences. They weren't seeing eye to eye with us. So they're fired. They're off the project. Phil Lord and Chris Miller have took to like social media, and they say like it was a very sort of cordial separation from the production. They wish the production and the actors all the best, and Disney and everything like that. There are no hard feelings, but that's a social media face. I think there's probably a lot more to it than that. I don't understand the necessity of allowing directors to shoot pretty much an entire movie and then realise it's not working. Kathleen Kennedy strikes me as the kind of person, as the producer, as the overseer of Lucasfilm kind of at the moment, that she would be on set like firsthand, like seeing this production, knowing that something's not right, knowing that there's probably some tension between the cast and the crew, and you'd act on it earlier. Like, they kind of did the same with Rogue One as well, and again, that is a film that I would love to know the history of and what really went on there in terms of the reshoots and the original version of the movie. Gareth Edwards, even still, like I saw Gareth Edwards recently near me at a screening of Rogue One, and he did a Q&A, and people were asking like what was the original version of the movie like, and he still had very scripted answers, almost like Disney still had a gun to his back, like if he said anything bad they'd pull the trigger. Like, it seems like Kathleen Kennedy went through this whole moment of like, we're bringing on like new and upcoming directors, very unique choices, directors that are going to give Star Wars their own voice and put their own stamp and own footprint on Star Wars. And it seems they let them do that, and then when they go like wild or go crazy, I know that Gareth Edwards apparently made a very dark, serious and somber war movie that was probably tonally inconsistent with the other Star Wars movies. In my opinion, that's great. We're getting new Star Wars movies. It doesn't always have to be the same. But I think with Disney being a business, Star Wars being a huge IP, it's going to be the studio function. It's going to be everything has to come off an assembly line. We've got to have this in a Star Wars movie, this. And it comes out as a Disney Star Wars movie, as I call it now. They're perfectly marketable, safe movies that are guaranteed to bring in box office. And that's all it is now. It really is about the money. Like, I know that the videos come out and they say like, oh, it's passion, we love Star Wars, it's family dynamic, all the same. They kind of sound like a broken record now at this point. It's really about the money and making a marketable product. And that's kind of all it is now. So, obviously, Phil Lord and Chris Miller were off the project. They bring in Ron Howard at the last minute. Ron Howard can be a solid director. He's made one of my favourite films of Apollo 13, which is an incredible movie. He can make some very bad or lackluster movie, like In the Heart of the Sea or Inferno, for example, the latest Da Vinci Code movie that came out a couple of years ago. He's very hit and miss, but it seems like he's a director that's like a solid, safe choice. But will he be cobbling together this movie? It honestly sounds like they have gone and reshot this entire movie over the course of the last few months. If that's the case, then that's astounding that they're still pushing for that May release date. Like, I thought it would make more sense to delay to December. Keep that Star Wars release date of December. And, like, May's in 3 months' time. This is the first trailer that's come out for it. Like, to me, that was a bad sign right from the off. There's been no marketing for this movie, this is a movie that people are already lukewarm on and kind of ambivalent towards. I guarantee there's probably some people out there that weren't even aware that this movie was coming out, that they were doing a Han Solo film. This is a movie that you need to push. Like, trailers should have been coming out last year, but obviously that wasn't the case. So I don't know how much of the film's been reshot. I'm guessing that like the entire thing's been given a structural overhaul. Ron Howard will be given probably sole directing credit on this movie, which means that he's probably had to hit a certain percentage, a certain quota in terms of how much he has directed on this film. I really don't know what to make of it. And actually, I've realised that I've been talking for 16 minutes now, so I guess I probably won't watch this trailer again. I might finish the video off on watching it again. I guess, like, to conclude of everything that I've said, because I know that I've been rambling on this video, is that I question the necessity for this movie. The movie looks fine. I think it's going to be another Disney Star Wars movie. It'll be somewhat entertaining. It'll pretty much be an average movie. I'll probably see it once, maybe, and that'll be it. Like, the background stuff, the settings, how it's made, looks fine, looks great. It's going to be the character, I think, that lets this movie down for me. I've gone on record before. I'm not a big fan of Emilia Clarke and her acting. You know, in Game of Thrones, whatever, she's always kind of a wet blanket to me, whether it's Terminator Genesis as well. She's always kind of the same, and I think she'll pretty much be playing the same character in this. I think Donald Glover will be great as Lando Calrissian, a younger version of him. I'm looking forward to seeing his performance. It's a Star Wars movie, so I'm going to go and see it. Of course, I'm going to go and see it on opening night. Might do a midnight screening, I'm not sure yet. But Alden Ehrenreich at the minute is letting this movie down for me, and just the film itself. I would have been quite happy if we didn't get a Star Wars movie this year, and then they make us wait till the following December for Episode 9. I'd have been happy with that. You would have had like a 2-year break from a Star Wars movie. But, you know, I'm still feeling the aftermath of The Last Jedi as of right now. It came out in December, for God's sake, like, just like, not even 2 months ago. And in 3 months' time, we've got this one. I'm repeating myself at this moment. There's still a lot I like in this trailer. I like the settings. I like the action. I like the way it's filmed. The lines are there. I think it's going to be a performance type thing in this one. And I really hope that when this movie comes out, it's not going to be that Star Wars movie where it's like, that should have been released straight to DVD or straight to Netflix or something like that. But that'll do it for my reaction to Solo, a Star Wars Story official teaser trailer. I'm sorry if this wasn't as enthusiastic as I have been on my previous Star Wars reactions. I still love talking Star Wars. There'll probably be another video this week. We might do another episode of Trailer Talk, which will be me and George. We'll talk more about this trailer in depth. We'll probably analyse some certain shots more. So look out for that. If you're a Star Wars fan, if you've just discovered the channel now through this video, please do hit that subscribe button, spread the word, all that good stuff. And until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.